Let's freaking go! Another fun Tuesday night live stream. So much to get to, including a very interesting Brian Kelly press conference earlier today. Now, I know a lot of you watched the earlier spring practice breakdown. A lot of you are here because of film studies to begin with. So keep in mind, our spring practice breakdown that we posted a little bit earlier in the evening is still up for your enjoyment. More than likely tomorrow night, I will be posting a defensive spring practice breakdown. So be on the lookout for that. But what I wanted to start off here with is Denver Harris, right? I thought this question from a reporter and Brian Kelly's response was very interesting. And I want you to listen very closely to it right here on PHL because I do feel Denver Harris is a very key piece to what LSU is building.
Hey, Coach. With a guy like Denver Harrison, just given some of his history, what made you feel confident that he could fit into what you're building here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we did a lot of research. This was not a decision that we just said, here's a great player. He had to fit. We felt like, we did our due diligence in terms of his background and, there's an affiliation with LSU here with the family. He had a lot of people speak on his behalf. He had a number of interviews with Coach House and myself, and we felt with the culture in which we have put together here that he would make it here because the culture is really strong. And it's proven to be that he's done well early on, and he has no choice. He has to make it. So here's a guy that has been given a second chance, and we feel like because of the circumstances, the culture is strong. He knows that this is really his last chance at an SEC opportunity, that it was worth the risk, and so far so good.
So, as you can see, Brian Kelly honestly did not want to break the culture that LSU is building. And I know that word is used a lot. Culture, every college football program uses it. But honestly, LSU last year, with the key players on its roster, had no major distractions. There were some, but it obviously wasn't the same as where Denver Harris came from, which of course was Texas A&M. And I could tell you, just hearing from behind the scenes, how crazy things were at Texas A&M. LSU really went after it in doing their research and bringing a former 5-star, a guy that got some all SEC freshman accolades last year, and he only played like roughly half of the games. Look, I know a lot of you, and I know this from the Discord as well on patreon.com/LSU football. Should we do this? Should we bring in someone that had a very tumultuous true freshman season at Texas A&M? The answer is unequivocally yes, because there's something to be said about that second chance, right? And I do think Denver Harris, who once again was very interested in LSU, I do think he was somebody that really wanted to come be a part of what LSU is building to begin with. But there was a coaching change, and his recruitment was crazy. His state championship game was all the way up until the early signing period, and so on and so on and so on. The kid can play, and it is worth it. Now, is he going to start next year? I do think it's going to be him and Deuce Chestnut as your starting outside corners. I know that is not something that everybody's on fire about. The second consecutive year that your starting outside corners are both new and their transfers, but we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, Zion Alexander has a lot to say about that. Javian Toviano has a lot to say about that. So we'll see how all of that comes to fruition. And maybe, just maybe, it is someone that is returning to LSU that wins that job, a guy like Terrence Welsh. So there are so many different pieces, but as of right now, the guy that gives the LSU defense, in my estimation, the highest ceiling is Denver Harris being on the field in some capacity. So Brian Kelly gave you a little bit of the behind the scenes, and I've gotten a lot of questions about him, a lot. And I wanted you to hear from the man himself, and it's worth it. Now, I don't know Denver Harris personally. Just know that, and those of you that have been watching me for the past couple of years, you know how much I liked Denver Harris coming out of high school. I really thought he was a dude. And he goes to Texas A&M, and now he's with us. So I'm all in, and hopefully everything, goes according to plan. And, you're going to need some of these leaders, a guy like Greg Brooks, a guy like Harold Perkins, especially Perk, to really show him the ways and how LSU does things. Because a big reason why this team was so good is that they were so together last year. So it is definitely worth it. Okay. Let's welcome in everybody. Jordan has been so supportive lately. AHM was one of our first viewers. It's good to see you again. It's been a while, especially when you're young. Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, and what's very interesting, and I'm going to touch on this right now, okay? If I am Brian Kelly, all right? Now, before I share what I'm about to share, okay? Don't forget, coming up at 9:15 Central, okay? We do have a guest, and you guys know I am very selective of who jumps on this channel because he not only represents me, he represents you guys, right? Got a very close-knit group of people here, and we're growing, right? So at 9:15, we will have a guest. I am really excited, and you have seen him before. And he will be on here to make the special announcement. We are doing another PHL Get Together. It is on the day of the spring game, and it will be in Bossier. So that's coming up here in just a second, and that is roughly a month away from today. So April 22nd, clear your calendars. It's going to be a good time, okay? I need you guys to be there. And guess what? The event is free, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and share this with you. I am not the main attraction. There are going to be, and I don't like throwing this word around, there are going to be some all-time great LSU football players at this event. So that's coming up here. We're going to tell you all about it. Just make sure April 22nd is clear on your calendar, right? And you guys know I only do it big, right? I only do it big. Now, I'll take one more here on Denver Harris, and I do agree, Rob, but I can't put that comment on the screen. Hey, True 337 Louisiana. Good to see you. Everybody, welcome him to the channel. Okay. This is what I will say if I'm Brian Kelly. Okay. Because this is going around the SEC, and honestly, the America as a whole has this issue. I do not want to see an LSU player end up like what happened at Alabama this past week, where a new safety, Tony Mitchell, who is young, he was Denver Harris last year, right? Same age, got in trouble. Okay. Got caught speeding 141 miles per hour. Let me repeat, an Alabama defensive back, 141 miles per hour, according to the police report. Okay. Take that for what it's worth. Now, what else has happened? He's not the only athlete that is sped. Denver Harris, of course, was on film, actually doing something more dangerous, not going quite that fast, but speeding in a parking garage. And not all of us live in cities, but those that do, that work at big businesses, you know how crazy parking garages can get. And he was speeding. if I'm Brian Kelly, to make sure what's happening at Alabama doesn't happen, to make sure what's not happening or what has happened at Georgia, I'm telling all of my players, don't speed. Do not speed. It is not worth it. It is not worth losing your driving privileges. It is not worth losing your life, right? We shared the story of Terrence Clark not too long ago, a Kentucky basketball player. It's not worth it. It's honestly not worth it, okay? Especially going 141 miles per hour, okay? So that's a thing, okay? That is a thing, right? And people like to do it. Athletes like to do it. When you drive Chargers and Camaros and all that stuff, I don't own a car, I share a car. If people like to drive fast, it is not worth it. Don't go over 100, right? That almost cost Anthony Richardson last year. And it is very important that I want everybody to be safe out there, especially the players that play for LSU. We side to Jordan, it's been a while. Good to see you. While fleeing. So I do want to include, there's more to the Tony Mitchell story than just that. This isn't an Alabama channel. So yeah. Now, I would say that to Denver Harris. I would say that to everybody on the team. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. Okay. Now, what's even crazier, I remember driving on the highway. I saw someone weaving through traffic while texting on one finger, one hand. It is crazy out there. And tomorrow I'm traveling as well. Drivers are crazy. I mean, you guys know people do not give up about anything other than they're texting and going Speed Racer, Jeff Gordon, Mario Andretti, Haley Deegan, all over the place. So please, I hope none of our players have that happen to them. And look, there have been LSU players in the past that have sped before. I'm not saying it's just a Georgia and Alabama or anything issue. It's just be safe. You are given rare traits that every single one of us wish we can have. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. And I think that's what Brian Kelly said today with Denver Harris. He was very open. For those that just missed the clip, we'll play it a little bit later. Okay? So, once again, I know some of you listen to the Open and you just get on with your evenings. Just remember, April 22nd in Bossier. Okay, we're going to talk more about that coming up. Now, a few other things from the spring practice, and it is something that we have talked about previously, but Brian Kelly shared it publicly today, okay? Two different things I predicted Brian Kelly would do with the defense is what happened. Okay, so last week we talked about Deshaun Womack. I heard the reporter, I believe it was Wilson Alexander, pronounce it Deshaun Womack. I don't know the official announcement or the official pronunciation. So yeah, I think it's important to go to the athlete and see how he wants his name to be pronounced. Once again, Lance Hurd, friend of the channel, wants to be known as Lance instead of Zelance. So forgive me if I've been pronouncing Deshaun's name wrong. Okay. I like Deshaun. I know Blake has a really good relationship with them. And he is a really good football player. But Brian Kelly said today, we don't know what his position is yet. Is he a jack or is he a defensive lineman with his hand in the dirt? We'll see. Okay, so Brian Kelly made that clear. I know a lot of you are ready to see him. They're moving him in slowly. Also, he is wearing the number 49, right? That Arden Key wore, that Barkevius Mingo wore, that Kirsten Pittman wore. So kind of a bizarre jersey number, but it's one with a lot of history at LSU, especially at the defensive end position. So pretty excited to see how they're actually going to use him, but he is a beast. I really do like him a lot. And at first, I did not think his rise up the rankings was I thought it was strange how quickly he rose. But if you watch him, especially this past year, he actually did become a better football player. And something else about Womack that is very interesting is if you go look at his schedule and you go look at his high school tape, there are few players in the country that played against better offensive tackles in his career than him, right? And I'm really excited to see him. The second thing that Brian Kelly cleared up today was a really good quote on John Jancic, why he decided to hire him. And I know that there are a lot of people out there asking, why did you not just hire a coach who just coaches special teams? So he said he's going to allocate or delegate, whatever. He's going to share these special teams responsibilities with an analyst. He included the name Lester Erb. Something else that I do want to include to that, okay, is he brought in John Jancic because BJ Ojolari left and he wanted a separate Jack linebacker coach. Okay, so tomorrow night, it might have to get pushed to Thursday because I'm traveling tomorrow, but I'm going to try and get it done for tomorrow night. We're doing a breakdown of what a jack is. A few of you asked me that privately. So we'll do a film breakdown of what that actually is and why it's important to have a separate coach coaching that position. Okay. And Brian Kelly shared a quote today. I might play it a little bit later as to why there is a different coach now for that position. It's a difficult position. It takes a special type of athlete. You got to be smart, and you also got to be athletic enough to play this position. And he didn't want Jamar Cain coaching the defensive line and the jack. So John Jancic's job is to coach the jack. And a good way to think of it is the jack linebacker is reciprocal of the tight end position, right? Where it's not a deep position group, but it's an edge position group that does a little bit of everything. The jack plays against the run, plays against the pass. It sets the edge. Sometimes it drops back into coverage. It's the same thing as a tight end. Sometimes a tight end blocks. Sometimes a tight end goes out for a pass. It's just a jack is always more than likely going to be on the line of scrimmage, where a tight end, of course, can split out wide. So it's important in Brian Kelly's mind to have someone separate from Matt House, who coaches the off-ball linebackers, and Jamar Cain, who coaches the hand-in-the-dirt defensive linemen, the three-point stance guys. And I thought that was really cool that Brian Kelly cleared that up. And that was partially why I thought he decided to do that. Now, here's the thing. It could blow up. This is something that I know a lot of you are concerned about, with there not being a coach solely dedicated to the special teams units, which honestly cost us games last year. It's fine. Okay. It's fine for now. You got to trust PK on this, but at the same time, you are right to be skeptical to see if no solo special teams coach is actually going to work. I hope it does. The only way we can go is up with our special teams units, and hopefully that is the direction we go. Okay. Barry, good to see you. AP, good to see you. And I want to shout out, I know LSU baseball is playing right now against UCA. I had a lot of friends that went to UCA. So I wanted to shout out AP. Actually sent me my first ever. Now I'm serious about this. My first ever LSU baseball autograph card. And I have it right here. And we actually talked about this card not too long ago. And it is Cade Doughty. Okay, there he is right there. Look at that. So I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, I don't believe Cade plays anymore for LSU. I think he's in the pros now. Or is he still on the team? Either way, shout out to Dylan Cruz. Shout out to Trey Morgan, Blake Money, and all those guys. They're killing it this year. I don't care if they lose one random midweek game to UCA. I don't even know what the score is now. I know they came back. UCA did. But thank you, AP. I really appreciate that. And look, I might give this out. If that's okay with you. Actually, no, I kind of want to hold on to it. I like to hold on to gifts for a little bit. So Kate is in the pros. Okay, thank you so much. But I appreciate you, AP. I appreciate the super chats and all that stuff. And thank you. I really, really, really do appreciate that. Now, I feel as if though something else to keep in mind about the Jack is we were in a better spot last year because BJ was so good and he played a majority of the snaps, and we really didn't have to worry about anybody else playing the position because, the backups were Xavier Carter and Desmond Little, and they're no longer here. And when BJ wasn't playing it was Harold Perkins. And that, of course, was more of, passing situations and all of that. So yeah, I don't think any more or less. I don't think any more or less of their not being a special teams coach, just solely coaching these special teams, because it is important to get that position coached up. But at the same time, I also know this. Is the Jack a more important position than all of your special teams units? No, it's not. So, if it doesn't work out, we'll see. Okay. Because this is a national championship level roster, and special teams are oftentimes the deciding factor in these close games, as many of you know. Obviously, the Florida State game is a perfect example of that. So Tyler will be there April 22nd. Pretty excited about that. Or I think he will be. And this is actually how I met Tyler a few weeks ago. So super pumped up about all of that. Now, here's a good thing. We're already 20 minutes into this. Anything that you guys want to talk about, LSU football related, feel free to super chat right now. Okay. Any LSU football related topic. If you want to talk Kev Falk, if you want to talk Dalton Hilliard, if you want to talk Ruben Randall, if you want to talk Lau Hitt, I'm going to do my absolute best. I'm not an expert on all those guys, but I could do my darndest in trying to break it all freaking down. Also, feel free to join our PHL Patreon, where today I did a private video talking about Ricky Collins and his development and what I think they are working on with him right now. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. If you join today, that is there for you. And yeah. Now, what I want you to do is also take a look at this hoodie. PowerLSU.com. Get your hoodie. Tony has his hoodie on in his actual photo. So PowerLSU.com. Where'd I put this thing? It's somewhere. Next person that orders 2 pieces of merch or joins the PHL Patreon, you're getting this autograph Malik Neighbors card. There you go. Jacob says he wants my K Doty card. I don't know. I kind of think I need to hold on to it for a little bit because it is a very sweet card. So you see these prism designs are actually similar. It's K Doty, and look at this Marcus Colston one. That's cool. Both of these were gifts from viewers of the channel. This was from actually someone that watches my sports card stuff. Kaladesi, I love him. And K Doty today. I really appreciate this. I'm very lucky to get to do this and have you guys do very nice things such as that. Okay, so LSU's killing them now. Perfect. 8-4 is the score. If JD5 does progress as a passer and doesn't push the ball down the field, do you see the Nuss bust taking over as the starter? I think He meant if JD does not progress as a passer and doesn't push the football down the field, do I think Garrett Nussmeier will become the starter? Okay, so it's a very good question. Let me start off by sharing some information that I've gathered on both of the quarterbacks recently. Okay. So it was brought up that Garrett Nussmeier had a procedure. I have been told that it was very minor. Okay. So it's nothing that you have to worry about him sitting out. I know he's wearing a leg sleeve. If you've been watching him in practice, he looks fine. So minor procedures happen quite a bit in the offseason for players, but I've been told it's nothing to worry about. Also, I had someone from Jaden's camp reach out to me today, actually, to talk about Jaden's excursion out to California. And Brian Kelly talked about it today in the press conference. And what I'm going to do now is give you a list of everybody that actually showed up to it. So Blake actually tweeted this out, a photo of Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. And it is true that all three of them were there and they also worked out together. But it wasn't just them. I've been told Jared Goff was there. It's pretty big. Right? It's a former NFL number 1 overall pick. And that just lets you know that no slouch could have just showed up. 2 other marquee quarterbacks were there. Jackson Dart of Ole Miss, who obviously was the starter and might no longer be the starter. And also Nico Imanvella. I've never even learned how to pronounce this kid's last name. He is a 5-star quarterback who went to Tennessee and allegedly was paid $8 million over 4 years to go to Tennessee. So those were the attendees of this workout session. Okay. And that is some heavy hitters. Okay. I'm told Jaden had a really good time. I'm told Jaden took all of it very serious. Also, it wasn't just throwing. It was some mechanics work and all of that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's going to transform as a vertical thrower of the football, but at least he's taken the steps needed to at least work on these things that he needs to work on. I will also say that this is his 5th year, and we have seen quarterbacks that are 5th-year players take massive steps forward as players. Okay. He might not have a Stetson Bennett, Joe Burrow type of jump in year 5, but I do expect some kind of jump in his play. Something else that has been relayed to me is he has physically matured as well. He does look bigger, and he is taking this final year very seriously. He is not resting on his laurels and everything that he accomplished in this past season. So I understand that sounds like very pro Jaden and very pro Nuss stuff, but I'm just sharing information that that I've been told about these guys, and yeah, it's very, very interesting. And I get some videos of them working out and all of that, and that's obviously really cool. But you guys know how I am, right? How do you translate that to getting it done on the field where it matters? Okay. And that's where things get very, very interesting. So, Prez, I really appreciate you. So there you go. Let's see here. Kedrick, thank you so much. Our first super chat of the evening is sent by Kedrick, one of our latest patrons. So, Kedrick, feel free to ask me anything under the sun, man. I also love these and these the Venmo Cash App versions, right? Always fun. For me, I think I am a Nuss Bus believer. He obviously looked amazing. And I think, to me, the most interesting thing is going to be, what does Ricky Collins look like in scrimmages? I think that's going to be really the one thing I'm looking forward to the most, right? Esteban, what's up, man? It's been a while, brother. I'm actually glad that we got a photo change from you because it used to just be your profile photo used to just be a street corner. Good to see you. I know you're super excited. How about the Houston Texans? Okay. They hire the number one candidate on the market who played for the team. They get Dalton Schultz on a cheap deal. Okay. Who else did y'all bring in? Y'all got rid of Brandon Cooks, but I brought in somebody else and you re-signed Larry Tunsil. I think the Texans could low-key make some noise this year. Let's see. Howard Jr., good to see you. And Kedrick, you get to pick the next topic. Go right on ahead. Love how LA Mom said, hey, when is the meetup? Yeah, it's tomorrow. No, it is April 22nd. So Rob updates us. It is 10-4 at the end of 6. Go Tigers, go. Good stuff, man. The one thing I'll say about UCA is that they do play on purple turf. Now, I don't know if their baseball field also has purple turf. That would be pretty daggone cool. But there you go. Now, a few of the things. I know my appearance with Blake got crazy last night. It always does. Okay. Glad to call him a friend. And we got into a debate about Jaquan Roy. Okay. Now, it was interesting that Brian Kelly said, hey, look, we did not have the interior pass rush that we needed last year. And he is counting on Mason Smith to provide that. Okay. Now, let me first off say that Jaquan Roy did not have the season that we thought he was going to have. He was fine. He wasn't spectacular, but I'm not going to tell you he was just bad either. I do think his sophomore year was better than his junior. And I don't know exactly why that is. I went back and rewatched his Alabama game, and it was rough, right? There were some rough moments there. And yeah, you expected him to be a little bit better. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you he was bad. He was a solid player for LSU. I do think, though, Mason can give you a little bit more upside if he gets back to the form he was in as a true freshman. I thought, what happened in the Superdome obviously was very unfortunate. I think, domes can destroy anybody's knee if you land a certain way, a wrong way. I don't think you'll see him celebrating a whole lot next year. And I don't think it was a celebration. I think it was the playing surface that had as much to do with it, if anything, and bad luck. So, yeah, I do think LSU's interior pass rush can be better from both not only Mason Smith, but Mekhi Wingo, right? I also think LSU just next year is going to be a deeper team. I do. And I do think part of Brian Kelly bringing in all these transfer portal players is him saying, look, we quite frankly last year, we were not deep enough. Okay. We were not where we needed to be in terms of depth. And we need that for us to succeed as a football program. Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you. I think Mason Smith could be a big time player for us next year with Harold Perkins coming off the edge, Deshaun Womack getting into the mix, Ovia Gufo, a guy that's played a lot of downs for LSU. I do think Jackson Howard has a really good opportunity to play a lot next year for LSU. A lot. Obviously, the bloodlines are there as Dan played in the NFL, but we'll see. So there you go. You guys also have heard my rants against Kentucky football recently. We'll save that for Power Hour SEC. Okay. Now, I will also bring up the quarterbacks. Okay. I do think, we talk so much about Jaden. We talk so much about Nuss. We talk so much about Ricky Collins already. But something that I feel could mislead us this spring is we don't have half of our starters available right now. Okay. Now, really think about that. Defense is a little bit different. You do have to play together as a unit on defense, but it's a little bit more plug and play. Offense, we brought this up in our film study earlier tonight. Timing is very important. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is think about all the pieces that are missing right now on offense. Charles Turner, unavailable right now for the spring. He is a starter until otherwise noted. Okay. Some of you believe Mason Lunsford will win one of these offensive guard spots. He is also not here. And depending on how you feel about Lance Hurd, he is also not here. Okay. So we'll say at the very least, 2 starting offensive linemen aren't here. Mason Taylor is also not here. Okay. Hope you're right, Forbes. 3 starters missing. Josh Williams, not here. That is your 4th starter missing. Okay. Aaron Anderson, not here. Some of you feel Aaron Anderson is going to be the starting slot guy. So that leaves you in spring right now 2 scholarship tight ends, 2, 8 scholarship offensive linemen from Brian Kelly's mouth today in practice. Two scholarship running backs. Now think about that. What are we going to learn from this offense at all? Nothing. Right now, it is strictly fundamental work with some one-on-ones mixed in there. Don't get too carried away with anything that you see. Now, what I will say is our guy Branson Cat said Trey Holly is getting talked up quite a bit. I'm hearing the same thing. The one thing that I've heard about Trey Holly, it's not so much that he is great. We are Trey Holly believers on this channel. He graced us with his presence on this channel. Sometimes it is not a matter of how good you are. It's how much do I trust you? How much do I like you? How much do people like being around you? Okay. I've spent one day with Trey Holly, one day. And that was at the last PHL Get Together in Bossier. Okay. And that kid was so impressive. And once again, that's one day. Hung out with his brother, met his mother, and it was great. But what I will also say is I've heard this from people that know more about Trey than me, are around Trey more than me. that this guy is someone that everyone loves to be around. It's obviously a really good thing. Okay. I'm going to be honest. He has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. People have said he's too small, and he is tiny. We have done many a deep dives on this channel about running back weight and how much it matters in the SEC. Okay. So people say he's too small. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, but I'll tell you that historically, the bigger backs are the better backs. But I'm telling you, with the football in his hands, he can make you miss. Okay? What's up, Esteban? Yeah, we touched on this. Brian Kelly said he's a tweener. He's expecting him to play a little bit of both as of right now. With Weeks, he's in there like swimwear, man. He's working in with his brother Wes Weeks. Here's a question. Do you think the plan is not to have a lot of these guys on offense for spring so we don't know what the offense looks like? That's a good line of thinking. But the truth here, Rob, is there is no install happening right now. Okay? There just isn't. Now, what does install mean? Install is a football jargon term for installing plays. Now, what you'll see LSU work on in the public versions of practice is stuff that everybody runs and stuff that LSU runs more than anyone. Inside zone, zone read type of drills. You see a lot of that, okay? You've got to rep that, though, a lot if that's going to be a big piece of your offense because, number one, zone read is a risky proposition. Okay, now why is zone read a risky proposition? It's because if the quarterback running back exchange sucks, you open yourself up for a fumble recovery, okay? And the thing is, and some of you know the game of tennis, you know the term unforced errors, okay? There should be a term for that in football as well. The thing about a zone read exchange, and if you fumble it, you are gifting the other team the turnover, right? It's one thing to throw up a 50-50 ball and Patrick Peterson wins a 50-50 ball. At least you made PP7 earn it, okay? You don't want to fumble zone reads because the defense didn't earn it. They did not earn it. Arkansas didn't earn the zone read fumble, okay? So you've got to rep that to oblivion, and it gets old. But if that's going to be what your offense is going to base around, and honestly, inside zone and north and south, good old-fashioned duo was a lot of what we were last year. Got to work on those exchanges every day in practice. It is critical. It is absolutely critical. Okay? Now, what else? Let's go to Pegasus. Who do I think needs a good spring the most? It's a very good question. I'm going to give you one player that you may not think needs a really, really, really good spring. Okay. And that player is Major Burns, right? So he is going to get the opportunity to start. Not only start, he's going to get the opportunity to Grant Delpit this thing. Start to finish, be one of the two safeties out there. Okay. Now, this is where it is important to understand that the way we view football is oftentimes the same way that coaches view the game of football, right? It's not too much different. What I will also tell you, though, is coaches have access to all 22, okay? We don't. Now, what does that mean? All 22 is a broad angle view of the game of football. Okay, where you can see all 22 on the players, 22 of the players on the field at the same time. The only two players you cannot see on a broadcast angle pre-snap are the safeties. Now, sometimes you can see them, especially if they're blitzing or if they're in the box, but sometimes you can't, especially post-snap. All right. So it's kind of hard to evaluate safety play. All right. What I will tell you, though, okay, and this guy's not going to be remembered, especially at DBU. He's not going to be remembered at all because there's just been too many good DBs. And also, he was suspended for the first few games of the season. But I'm telling you right now, Joe Fouché was one hell of a football player for us last year. And I understand he was year 6. So, he had an age advantage over a lot of people. He has played a lot of football. He was a really solid player at Arkansas. God, he was good for us last year in a lot of different ways. And it showed up. It really showed up. Now, I know everyone remembers the Ole Miss interception. That was a really good play. But this dude was so freaking good for us in some big spots. Alabama game, he made a few nice plays. I just liked him. I might be overrating him, but he was a really good player for us, and he added some depth to that unit. Okay, now he's gone. Okay, gone. Won't play next year. Also, Jarek played some Converse. Bernard Converse played some safety for us last year. He's also gone. Okay, I think Greg Brooks is reliable enough to feel good about him playing one of the safety spots. But Major Burns, who's had injury issues, from Baton Rouge, he really wants to make this thing work. I do feel, just speaking to people I trust, he is a leader of this team. And he is a safety who wears a neck roll. And I'm always going to support safeties that wear neck rolls because you rarely see it. This could be his defense. This could be his defense next year. He could call the shots. Okay. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Also love the dog photo. Everybody match it right now, please. Let's go. Hey, yeah, drop them $2, baby. Hey, those count. Those count, baby. Hey, there you go. The Master Blaster. What's good, man? Like I told you earlier, Tony is rocking the best PHL hoodie of all time. Is this one. Get yours now. Okay. Giving this out. If you buy 2 pieces of merch, I'm going to ship this Malik Neighbors autograph card. Malik freaking Neighbors? Are you kidding me? Malik? Tony! So Tony, you get to pick the next topic. We go to D Really. By the way, Branson Cat's not here right now. But we do have PHL Idol coming up in May, where D Really will compete against Branson Cat in a singing competition, and you guys will vote for it. Okay. We have one country music star already joining us for that occasion. He's going to be the judge. We're going to try and get as many judges as we can. I used to work in the country music industry. So I still don't know a whole lot about it. But still, D Really's going to be competing. He wants to talk some Landon Ibieta. Okay. Jared, what's good, man? Jared's watching on Facebook. There you go. Well, what the zuck are you doing on Facebook? You get it? What the zuck? I love it. Grant, I'm gonna D Really, I'm gonna let you know that Grant actually knows this young man, so he is behind you on this. Good to see you again, Grant. I really feel like Landon Ibieta is going to be a dude before it's all said and done. Okay. Landon Ibieta. Okay. So I'll defer to Grant, who has been following this young man's career for quite some time. All right, so this is my prospect grade on Landon coming out. Okay, I liked him. I didn't, and Grant knows this. I wasn't just like on fire about him, coming out. That's not really a knock. I liked him. I like everybody that chooses to go to LSU. Obviously, he's got the speed to play Division I football. And that obviously is arguably the most important trait, right? It's something you can't teach. So we know he's got the speed. We know he's got hands, right? His tape shows some really amazing catches, and he's got some wiggle. He's got the ability to make things happen with the football in his hands. Now, obviously, this kind of goes along with, every bit of Chris Hilton analysis that we have done on here. The number one thing is health, and I think Landon will tell you that as well. His health is going to need to be the absolute best it's been. And the ironic truth is there are a lot of guys on this team that are former 4-star recruits that just have had a lot of injuries, right? And Landon's one of those guys. Terrence Welsh is one of those guys. Obviously, we were just talking about Chris Hilton being one of those guys. He wasn't quite a 4-star, but this guy is really good, and he's one of my favorite players on the team. Matthew Langlois, he's still on the roster, right? From New Roads, Louisiana. Point Pete Bear, stand up. One of my favorite players, because I am also a New Roadian. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. All right. The one thing about LSU wide receiver play is it is a true meritocracy. Okay. You have got to be able to be a dude, right? Not everybody could play wide receiver at LSU. There are plenty of wide receivers from the state of Louisiana that don't even play here, and they go to other schools and win Heismans at the wide receiver position. They go to other schools and become big-time wide receivers for a long period of time. I think Dontavian Wicks is going to be a really good pro. Okay, this might be the first that some of you have ever heard of him. He went to Virginia, and he was a 3-star, and he could play. He can play. He went to the Senior Bowl, and I wish he was an LSU Tiger, but you can't get everybody here. So I say all of that because Landon was committed to Miami, and Brian Kelly came in at the end. He loved him, and LSU offered, and he flipped. So this is a kid who really wants to be here, really wants to make it work out, and he's got some playmaking ability. Now, the hard part about and you do have to do this on a scale, all right? The hard part about grading wide receiver prospects that come to LSU or evaluating them is it is a high threshold to be someone that I feel is going to be a big part of what LSU is going to do at the wide receiver position. Okay. So, good example. Every year, I'm always very cautious of who I label as a big time player. Now, on Patreon, I released all my high school grades for all the early enrollees, my final grades, okay, on just their high school tape, nothing that they've done so far at LSU, right? And I try and watch as many games, watch as many camps. I take it to factor their recruiting rankings, size, athleticism, and all those things. And of the 4 high school wide receivers that LSU brought in, Shelton Samson was that dude for me. Like, I really do think he is a very good player, and it would take a lot for him to not be a piece of what LSU is doing next year, and at least in the first 2 years. I do think he is very good. Now, I'm not reinventing the wheel here telling you that, but the other 3 guys actually looked pretty good to me. They did. Kai, Jaylen Brown, and of course, Kyle Parker. And I liked all of them. I really did. But I'm always very careful who I say, hey, this guy is for sure going to be a big time player. And Landon didn't quite reach that threshold for me when I was looking at him coming out. But, hearing Grant talk about him, hearing you talk about him, Donovan, you have a very sharp football mind. I hope it works out because I do think LSU's wide receiver room is a little bit more open than we would like to think it is. Okay. So there you go. Thank you so much, Jordan. I really appreciate it. So Jordan wants to talk some Shelton Samson. We'll do that right now. Okay. Don't forget, Kedrick, if you're still watching this, feel free to drop your question. Speak of the devil. There you go. So we're going to talk Shelton. We're going to talk Brian Kelly. I want everybody to say hi to Simper. SNA gang. Good to see you. Everybody, welcome SNA gang to the channel. Who do I see stepping up this year? It's a good question, man. Why not Shelton Samson? And that is my answer. I do think Shelton's going to be a player for us next year. I think he's very good. I think it's going to be undeniable that this is a guy that can play for us immediately next year. Okay. Now, I'm going to share with you a few things. We're going to get to our guest here in just a second. The first thing I'll bring up about Shelton Samson is the film looks really good, right? I know that there was this report that he ran sub 4.4. I don't know. I wasn't there that day. But when I watch him, I don't think he has like Jamar Chase level athleticism. But I think a very good comparison to him is the one that you guys have heard me say on here, Terrace Marshall. I think they're very similar players. They wore the same jersey number. Terrace wore number 6 at LSU, and that's what Shelton wore at Catholic High. And obviously, I just think the world of him. I really do. I don't know him personally. I just don't. I don't know if he is like he's not an early enrollee, obviously, but if he is a guy that gets after it, it's going to be very hard for him to not be a successful Division I wide receiver. Okay, let's go to a super chat here, and then we'll get to our guests. Make a big announcement of the next PHL Get Together. Carter, can you explain how much better LSU will be for having a tactical commander like Brian Kelly than a clown Coach O? I still have to argue with family members who prefer Coach O. Why? Now, family members who prefer Coach O are not people that I would trust with anything, unless you know Coach Orgeron. Obviously, if you're a family member of Coach Orgeron, yeah, you're going to feel that way. But yeah, I don't know why anybody would say Coach O is a better option for this team than what Brian Kelly accomplished in year 1, going 10-4 with the team that we had. But yeah, I still think there is residue, Kedrick, from people that have perpetuated a myth here that Brian Kelly is not a cultural fit at LSU. And there's still people out there that think that this thing could crash and burn. And look, anything could happen at any coaching staff and at any program at any time, right? But it's not going to. We're recruiting too well. We're getting good quarterback play. And yeah, I don't understand why anybody, Kedrick, around you in your family, and I would like to talk to those family members. And I would also tell them to go see the nearest physician because there might be something wrong with them. And this is something that I'll bring up about coaches. Sometimes we think of coaches as, hey, this coach is an all-time great. Let's hire them right now, when that is not the case. Sometimes coaches aren't in the prime of their careers, right? Urban Meyer, the Jacksonville Jaguars, is not Urban Meyer of the Florida Gators. Okay. So yeah, it's hard to maintain excellence at the coaching position. It is really, really hard. And, if Coach O fumbled the bag, he'll tell you that, but everything is moving forward, and that's the key. So there you go. Now, here's what we're going to do. I need some clap emojis in the chat right now. Okay, because we're about to welcome in a two-time PHL guest. It's hard to join the two-time club. There's not many people that are in that list. Jeremy Hill's in that list. Van Lathan's in that list. Blake Ruffino's on that list. So there's not a whole lot of people that are in the two-time club. Slade Roy is on this list, but we are proud to announce our next PHL get-together. We're teaming up yet again with the Arklatex Memorabilia Card Show. It is my friend and yours, Ty Christiana.
What's up, guys?
What's up? And Ty, I've got to say this before we actually talk about April 22nd, okay? The first one that we did a few months ago was as much fun as I've ever had at a card show. So, Ty, it's going even bigger. So the last card show, we had Lance Hurd and Trey Holly there. This year, or this next show on April 22nd, let the viewing audience know the LSU greats that will be there.
Yeah. So again, thank you for having me. Two-time. I feel Jeremy Hill. Anytime you're on list with Jeremy Hill, I feel pretty good about it. But yeah, we're bringing in some heavy hitters, right? So 2019 defensive player of the game for the national championship is Patrick Queen. We're bringing him in. We're bringing in the number one recruit in the country for girls basketball, Michaela Williams. She's going to LSU. And we also are bringing in Jeray Jenkins last minute. We just got that in there. So, yeah, Jeray Jenkins, Michaela Williams, and none other than Patrick Queen going to be in the Arklatex Sports Card Memorabilia Show April 22nd. So it's going to be something to see, right? Obviously, we did. We've had quite a few guests, and we just keep trying to get better and get bigger, right? So come on out and meet your LSU heroes. So yeah, we're really excited about it. Patrick Queen is the biggest guest we've ever brought in, and like I said, we love the support, and we'd love to see how fans react to that.
Wait, hold on just a second. Wait, hold on just a second. You're talking about the national championship MVP.
That's it. Yep. Player of the game. Defensive player of the game. There's only two players of the game given out, right? So Joe Burrow got one. Patrick Queen got the other. So, yeah, we're bringing in the best of the best from the national championship team, and we're really super excited about it.
Patrick freaking Queen. Okay? How about that? Okay? So, Patrick Queen, Michaela Williams, who will be a WNBA lottery pick.
Oh,
The next Sabrina Ionescu. The next Angel freaking Reese will be
Simone Augustus. Yeah.
The next Simone Augustus. You might have a statue one day on LSU campus. And Ty, Jeray Jenkins? Are you kidding me?
National champion.
National champion. Huh? And
it's really good.
And tell us a little bit more about Jeray signings, Ian.
Yeah, so Jeray is part of Jeray's going to be free for everybody who walks in. It's awesome, right? So he's going to do that for our fans. I know there's going to be a donation fee for Michaela. She's going to be $10. She wants to donate it to charity that helped her get to where she is. It's a basketball charity, so we're really super excited about that. And then Patrick Queen, I believe, is $60 per item, which it's never been that low, and it's never been that low because we wanted to get him here, so he wanted to do that for us. So, yeah, we're super excited. Like I said, I mean, we just try to bring as much talent as we can to Bossier City and try to get North Louisiana the respect that they need and they deserve. So we got plenty of LSU fans up here, and we like to show out for them. So that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, so, Patrick Queen's name is in the history books, right? He is, he is up there with, the Brady James, talk about North Louisiana, and Devin White, his name is up there with first-round picks and all-time greats. And it's hard to do signings with pros who hang out with Lamar Jackson, who hang out with Joe Burrow all the time. Right. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm a Patrick Queen collector, so I'm definitely super excited about this opportunity. And what's crazy about Jeray Jenkins, Ty, that people forget is not necessarily he was a good player, but he was clutch, right?
Absolutely.
How many game winning catches? So you had the Arkansas catch.
He had the Arkansas catch. He had the A&M catch. Everybody forgets about that. I mean, he sent us to our bowl game when Coach O was on the way out, and then he would have caught the game winning / saving touchdown against Florida State last year, except for the lack of being able to block for a field goal. But we'll let that go. But no, I mean, really, Jere's been really clutch for LSU, and I believe it's the week before the draft.
Yeah.
So I mean, he may get picked up. He may not. I think he still gets a shot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he'll make a camp. Yeah.
Right. So it's exciting. It's exciting for him to have that opportunity. And then obviously having Patrick Queen in the building. I mean, Patrick Queen's a Pro Bowler, great player, important player for the Ravens. Sits next to Roquan Smith, who just got a $100 million contract. Shares a locker next to Lamar Jackson, who's probably going to get a $200 to $300 million deal here very shortly. He is a vital part of that 2019 team, and really kept our defense together in the beginning of that season when our defense was not very good, and really came to form in that national championship game. So, yeah, we're super excited about it. And like I said, the more we put on, the better it gets, and the better it gets, the more we can put on. So we'll see what happens.
So that's obviously what's going to draw a lot of people in, these three people. But this is an actual show. So
right.
Give people, and what I'm going to do while you answer this question, I'm actually going to play a medley. It's not going to be all photos from the event. So the first photo here is Kev Falk. But in this video medley, you'll see a bunch of photos that I took with viewers, but just in general, all of us just hanging out. So I know a lot of people come in, sign, and leave. But Ty, I highly recommend people come to the show, because even if you don't buy any cards, you're able to go to all these showcases and see a $50,000 LeBron card, stuff that you thought you would never see. So give people a little insight, if they've never been to a memorabilia show, what it's like to go around and look at all these showcases.
Right. No, absolutely. So last show we had 100 tables. We had 100 tables. We had, thousands upon thousands of dollars in cards, right? You said you had a $55,000 LeBron. An individual had a case of over $1 million of T206, which is like early baseball,
right?
In a showcase, which is insane, right? Why would you have $1 million of cards? But hey, people have different investments. You're going to see autographed jerseys, autographed pictures. That's like what I specialize in, is photos and jerseys, along with Wade Strother, who's my partner in the show. He does a lot of, helmets, baseballs, jerseys. So we kind of share that passion. But like I said, you'll have DCI out there. DCI is a grading company out of Dallas. Used to formerly Dallas Card Investors, now Dynamic Card Innovations, and they do a really, really good job. They were 95 or 94% close to PSA. PSA is the gold standard.
Right.
So we bring them in, and they partner with us, and they're super excited to come back.
And really quickly, Ty. So these are all the photos from the last event. That's obviously my dog, but you see Trey Holly here. You see us doing the interviews, but keep on going.
Yeah. So the other unique thing you're going to see at the Augmentex card show is you're going to see the athletes hang out, right? Yeah. Like, if you go to bigger shows and you go do other things like other shows, you're not going to see athletes, mingle and hang out with the public and their fans, right? Like at our show, I think Lance Hurd and Trey Holly walked around probably for a good 30 minutes to an hour. One doing an interview with you, then doing an interview with another podcast called T-Bubba. Yeah, and and so we're always about bringing the experience to the fans, right? So it's important for me and important for Wade to be able to provide everybody an experience. So if you buy nothing, you will at least have had an opportunity to see these individuals up close and personal, either before they're on the big stage or in Patrick Queen's situation where he's on the big stage, right? He's played in the biggest games and the biggest stages. So, yeah, no, it's absolutely a dream could come true that we're able to pull this off, and without the support of everybody, it'd be impossible. So we really, really do appreciate that.
And honestly, Michaela Williams has the highest ceiling of any of them. I think even they would say that. Like, She will. She will play professional basketball. For some reason, at the WNBA would be. I mean, rarely does the number one player not make it, but she's going to be big time for Kim Mulkey. And remember, Kim Mulkey's like selling out now. Like, I mean, Michaela's going to be playing in front of thousands upon thousands of people. So, and look, we're a big girl dad channel. Lots of girl dads out here. This will be a good opportunity to meet some.
Michaela Williams is a special athlete, right? Like very few people in the world have had 3 USA gold medals before the age of 18. She's been the number 1 recruit in the country in her year, arguably for the last 3 years. She's a McDonald's All-American. She's a Louisiana Player of the Year for Gatorade 2 times. She's the John Wooten Award winner for high school, which is the highest honor you could possibly get in female sports for basketball. She is the real deal. Like Kim Mulkey was here in Bossier City every week when she was playing high school basketball. It's unbelievable to have that kind of talent here. And we continue to do it, right? You spoke about Terrace Marshall. We had Brandon Harris. We had Dak Prescott, other than, LSU. But we've had so much talent up here recently that it's incredible to see and really just an honor to be around, right? So, this is Michaela's first signing as well. She's never done anything like it.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll have LSU jerseys out and ready to go. She is number 12 next year. That's already kind of been promised to her. If you look at the roster, there isn't a number 12. So she will have the number 12. And like I said, it's awesome to see that, because if you look at especially if you look at their roster, right? They're going until Elite 8 or Sweet 16 or wherever they're in right now. And it's crazy because they're missing a guard, and she is that piece. So,
she should be eligible right now. She should be eligible right now.
And I read an article the other day that arguably, if you put her in the WNBA right now, she could compete.
Oh, wow.
Because, I mean, so you got to think at an Olympic level, you're playing athletes that are however old, right? I mean, there's no, you don't get to dictate how old people are. So Michaela having the opportunity to do that is phenomenal. And we're super excited. I mean, super excited.
Shout out to friends of the channel, Shane and Roy's kids, everybody else, Sean Michael, all those guys, they'll all be there. And my guy Will, I mean, we're all mutual friends. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to be honest, I've been to the show twice. This is going to be my 3rd time in a semi-professional capacity. I'm honestly there just to be a kid. So I'll be there. And you saw it, Ty. It's just fun. Honestly, it's just fun. Like, I highly recommend you do it. Now, we do have a little bit, of a conundrum here that there is the spring game
every time
on the same day. So I don't know how I'm going, because I know we do all kinds of shows around the game or whatever.
Right.
But like, for instance, just to give a little background, game days for me are crazy because, doing the film studies, we're doing live streams and all that. I'm still going to this. Like, I don't like sacrificing, sitting here for like a game day. I'm only for Bama and my wife going to see Harry Styles. I don't like being away from here. So that lets you know I'm packing up all this stuff, going all the way there, because it is just a really, really fun event. So we don't know what time the spring game's going to be. I know a lot of people are going to be like, it's the day of the spring game. This will be funner than the spring game, Ty. I guarantee it.
Right. So after COVID, they did away with the autograph sessions. They did away with a lot of like the fan interactions. I don't know if it has to do more pre-COVID or more with the nil stuff going on. But like I said, it used to be like a fan-filled experience. And like I said, I just think that, we are going to try to give the best public experience we possibly can. And I guarantee it will be better than the LSU spring game, other than the fact that you don't get to watch football, but it is what it is.
If the game is, there's going to be people there with their phones and
right. Oh, absolutely.
So yeah. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be watching it, but I'm going to be honest. Like, it is a trip for me to go to Bossier. I'm going to this, right? It's just that much fun. And I also don't do a whole lot of these kinds of things. Ty is the absolute best at putting together a show. So I go to quite a few shows. This is one of my favorite ones. And the last one was my favorite show I've ever attended. And it's also really cool because this is a Louisiana show. So you're going to see more Louisiana-based collectibles, right? If you go to a show, if you go to the National in Chicago, which there are over 1,000 tables,
Huge.
There might not be any LSU stuff. I mean, there'll be Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stuff, but there might not be rare Patrick Queen, rare Terrace Marshall, and all that stuff. So it's a show. If you're watching this right now, you're probably an LSU fan. It is a show that is catered to you, an LSU fan. So, so there you go. And Ty, I think this is a very important question. What is the admission to get into the event?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's something we pride ourselves in. It's nothing. We think that everybody should have the opportunity to have the experience, right? It doesn't do me any good to charge you $2 to walk through a door. I'd rather you come in and just experience whatever it is that you want to come to experience. And if you choose to buy something, you can do that. If you choose not to, then that's fair too. But we just want to be able to provide the public, the best experience we possibly can, and LSU fans the best experience we possibly can.
And kids are allowed, family friendly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have a plethora of kids that usually compete with each other and see what they can buy.
Right.
The name of the group is the Arklatex Sports Card and Memorabilia.
There's a link right there.
All right, cool deal. Thank you. But yeah, no. Like I said, we usually have kids compete and try to. They'll start with like $1 and then try to build their way up to see the best card they can get by the end of the show. So yeah, it's really a good experience for everybody. We usually do a kids corner too. We introduced that last time, where we give up tables to kids or anybody under the age of 12, and they can sell their stuff at their table. We just ask that they have their parents with them. We don't want anybody to get taken advantage of, and like I said, in order to do that, we want to make sure their parents are with them. But yeah, no, we cater to everybody. Like I said, if you're between 4 and 94, you come on in and we can party.
So be there, April 22nd.
Oh, absolutely.
April 22nd, and I'll be there early, so I'll probably be there all day like I was last time. Mm-hmm. This is heaven for me. I know I'm a sports card person, as Jonathan just pointed out. I've given out a ton of cards on here, but there's going to be people. I know I've shared some of my cards in here, Ty, and I know you have a ton of autographs, but you once you see other people's collections, you're like, God, this dude, wow. This is crazy. I thought I had the best Tyrann Mathieu collection on the planet. I don't. There was somebody there with a better collection than mine. And it's really cool to see. It's absolutely cool to see. So April 22nd, it's free. We want everybody to be there. And Ty, you saw how many people there with PHL shirts and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to do the same thing for this because Ty really works hard to have freaking Patrick Queen there, Dre Jenkins. There's a lot of work that goes into this. So we'll see you there, man. And Ty, we appreciate you, my brother.
No, absolutely. I appreciate you. And like I said, I cannot thank you enough for having me here. Like I said, 2-time club. Hopefully we get to make it 3 and we get to carry this on.
Let's go.
Yeah, but no, I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I encourage everybody to come out. It's going to be a great time. And April 22nd, 10 o'clock in the morning, come through.
Let's go. All right, Ty, we'll see you, buddy.
I'll talk to you, brother. Thank you.
See you, bud. So that's Ty Christiana. He is part of the 2-time club. You guys know I'm very selective on who comes on this channel. Very selective. Okay. I'm also very selective on what I associate myself with. I don't just bring people on here to bring it on. Okay. I will be there. We need you to be there as well. But what about the spring game? We're going to figure it out. I don't like lugging all this stuff. Okay. Because when we were there, we did a show with Lance Hurd, did an interview with Trey Holly. The audio actually got distorted, and I've tried as hard as I could to revive it. I'm actually just going to text Trey to see if he can just come on the channel at some point. But yes, I bring the whole shebang there, and we'll do interviews and all that stuff. But really, the big thing is the fellowship, right? And what's very interesting with this show is Ty said, "Hey, I'm not trying to get you to buy anything. We just like to get collectors together." And I don't, and this is full disclosure. I do a football card show every Tuesday, and I did it today. I do a football card show every Tuesday at 1:30, and it's live. And I'm always very open with plays and stuff that I sell and all of that. I don't make a lot of money on football cards. I'm a collector. I got into this for the fellowship. I get into this because my dad is really big into it. This hobby, sports collecting, brings people together if it's done right. And make sure you get there. Okay. But now we're going to get back into some other LSU news and notes. I should have asked Ty his thoughts on everything up to this point in spring, because he actually knows football like crazy. The poll question's up. Which side of the football is a bigger concern to you, defense versus offense? So far, defense is currently winning. That is very interesting. So I'm going to slightly disagree there. I do think offense is a little bit of a bigger concern just because it is the stronger side of the football, or the more important side of the football. But I will also say this. I do feel while defense overall is deep up front, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough to it's tough to really piece where everybody's going to be on the back end. Okay. Now, Danny, jumping the gun a little here on Pressy Collection, but honestly, she was actually just bringing up Pressy Collection because I was talking about who I associate myself with. And look, I've said no to a lot of stuff. Now I'm a little bit more open now because I have a better understanding on how to cultivate these relationships and all of that. And this is one that I love, Pressy Collection, and the PressyCollection.com. I only trusted Anthony Starr Pressy with the biggest decision of my life, which is getting my wife's engagement ring and wedding band and my white gold engagement ring. Pressy Collection, PressyCollection.com. So, yeah, Danny wasn't jumping the gun. She was actually just bringing up that. And I am proud to announce that I have re-upped with UnderdogFantasy.com. Okay. Now, a lot of you have done the fantasy drafts with me on Underdog Fantasy over the past couple of years. We're going to be doing more of that. Like, I'm a big believer in what Underdog is doing. So, UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code Carter when you go there to sign up. Carter is the promo code that helps this channel, but you also get a bonus. Pressy Collection. Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. Okay? I do have to get up super early because I do have a trip that I have to make tomorrow. Okay? But I don't mind staying up all night. I know the lighting in here has felt a little bit different. I'm shocked that more of you have not brought it up. The bulb on my photo light here went out. So I have ordered more. I thought you could find one here. You can't. So this is what I've been doing for some light. Okay. Makeup mirror. Round 2. I can put it right there. Look at that. Should I just hold it here so I can get a better lighting? I'm just holding it right here. Huh? There you go. Now, hope LSU baseball held on. I'm sure that they did. Only 2 losses on the season. Oh, LSU baseball is up against it. I say LSU baseball. USA versus Japan in the World Baseball Classic is 3-2 in the top of the ninth. What is he good for? Absolutely nothing. LSU up, Flames up, USA down, 1 run. Oh, top of the ninth, 2 outs. Oh, is this Mike Trout going up against Ohtani? You can't be serious. Oh, that's Mike Trout going up against Ohtani. How iconic is this? Please, if you have access to watch a TV right now, put it on Fox Sports 1. The 2 best baseball players alive right now are going one-on-one for the World Baseball Classic. That's crazy, bro. 100 miles per hour made Mike Trout. That is crazy. Don't let Ohtani strike out Mike Trout for the whole freaking thing. This is crazy. So Joshua, are you gonna make the trip? I'm gonna be so freaking pumped if Joshua comes. Pause. Mike Trout versus Ohtani, 3-2 pitch. That's crazy. Struck him out. That's crazy. Sports, dude, there is nothing like sports, man. You never in a million years did you think 2 teammates, the 2 best players on the planet in this elimination tournament, would go head to head. The 2 best baseball players alive. Dude, Ohtani is a cheat code, man. He might be the best baseball player to ever live. I'm serious. I am freaking serious. That guy is there's no way that this guy is real. No way that Shohei Ohtani is a real human being. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Imagine being the best home run hitter alive right now, and you also throw 100, dude. Over 100, bro. Ohtani's not top 25 yet. Are you kidding me? Oh, you're talking about like all time. And I defer to you. Yes, Judge is the best home run hitter. But 100, bro. 100. Like, that is just crazy That is just so freaking crazy. And that's kind of like the beauty of baseball. Ohtani and Trout are on the same team, and the Angels suck. They suck. But yeah, Ohtani might be the best baseball player I've ever witnessed. Okay. Next to Derek Jeter, of course. Derek Sanderson Jeter. I'm kidding. But God dog. 100, bro. 100. That's absurd. That is absurd, man. Okay. Mickey Mantle is the best. Oh, come on, Skipper. You don't jump into a live stream late and come in here with Mickey Mantle. Now, I will say his baseball cards are by far the most valuable. Him, Honus Wagner, and then, of course, like Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson cards. But I mean, Mickey Mantle's up there. Okay. He's definitely up there. He's definitely like top 10, right? I know the old schoolers, the Willie Mays, Hank Aaron's. That's obviously, part of the conversation. But the best baseball player that has played during my existence as a human is Ohtani. Now, will he end up being the best player? I don't know. But he is the best baseball player I've ever seen. That's different than if you'll actually have a better career. Everyone is aging themselves by who they are choosing. I know, Donald. Isn't that crazy? How do the Angels suck? How do they suck? But who knows? I mean, maybe Mickey Mantle is the best of all time. I don't know. But who would that be? That would the best baseball players who's in that conversation. Obviously, Babe Ruth. Obviously, Willie Mays. I think Henry Aaron is definitely in that conversation. But modern day, it's Barry Bonds, King Griffey Jr., and Shohei Ohtani. Speaking of legends, well, DJ, where the hell is it? Go beat your son up right now and pay for your entire life right now. The skipper said, I don't care. I don't care. Mickey Mantle was the best. Yeah, I mean, it just depends how you want to divvy up the eras, because some people tell you, hey, Satchel Paige would have been the best if he was allowed to play in the big leagues his whole career. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Honestly, though, like prime Alex Rodriguez was a problem, bro. Any Alex Rodriguez fans in here? We always have one topic at the end that just goes haywire. So, like, A-Rod at his peak was so freaking good. So freaking good. I mean, and then you get into pitchers. Obviously, modern era pitchers is Randy Johnson and Pedro, right? The best modern era guys. And I guess Kershaw, maybe. And then, of course, Mariano Rivera is definitely, you can't make a top 10 pitchers list of all time and not put the Sandman in there, right? Let's go to Hit Stick. Good to see you again. He wants to talk some football, which is why we are here. If you could have any quarterback succession planning going forward, would you rather have Jalen to Ricky or Nuss to Hurley? Okay. And this is why Jordan and I are friends. Ohtani might be the best at both. Like, the best at both. Like, the best at both of them. Okay? The best. Imagine if Tom Brady was not only who he was as a quarterback, but he also started at linebacker, right? Ohtani is the best at all of it. Like, there's not an aspect of baseball that he is not exceptional. Like, he can run, he can hit, he can throw. Like, there's nothing he cannot do at an extremely high level. Now, he's not like Ricky Henderson type of fast, but I mean, he's an athlete. So, would I rather have Jalen to Ricky or Nuss to Hurley? Okay. Obviously, you would rather in this case have Nuss to Hurley because if you go Jalen to Ricky, you would lose quarterback depth, right? Because if Ricky beat out Nuss last year, or next year, which could happen, it's a non-zero chance of happening. It's a small chance, but it's a non-zero chance of happening. You want Nuss to be the guy next year because Ricky wouldn't leave as the top backup only in year 2. And then you have a 1-2-3 situation like you have right now. Experienced starter, second or third year backup, and true freshman, wait in the wings kind of guy. So I think unequivocally you would rather have Nuss to Hurley. Okay. Now, now that's just factoring in not my personal opinion of how I want it to play out. Let me start off by saying this, okay? And I'm always open with relationships, okay? I may not necessarily, you hear me say, hey, I know someone close to Jaden. I know someone close to Nuss. You hear me reference that quite a bit. Well, those people wish to remain anonymous. Okay. So I don't share, my sources from time to time. And that's for good reason, right? Because they give me good information, kind of like the information I shared earlier about Jaden's workouts. Okay. I try to be as open as I possibly can. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm very public in my friendship with Colin Hurley because he was just on the channel not too long ago, and I talk to Colin semi-frequently now. Okay, but as much as I like him and I know him, he's the only one I've ever talked to. I've never spoken to Nuss. I've never spoken to Jaden, and I've also never spoken to Ricky. Okay, I think all of them I think the world of all of them. Okay. So what I'm about to say has nothing to do. It's no hard feelings towards any of them. Okay. But the truth is, and this is for any player that ever plays at LSU. Okay. I don't have a personal attachment to any player that, unless it's family or a childhood friend or someone that I know really, really, really well, it is very important to always remember that LSU is who you're a fan of, not any one player. Okay. And we've gone into it. I know we brought up, Simper, and, he went to every Walker Howard game. He's met Walker Howard. So, it's okay to be a fan of a certain player. And if they leave, you're still a fan of that player. But understand that it is always more important to be a fan of the team and never be too attached to any one player. Okay. So in this scenario, though, I would rather the latter. Okay. Because if Nuts is the guy next year, you are for sure going to have 3 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster next year, unless Ricky Collins decides to go. Okay. So there you have it. Now, who do I think of these quarterbacks is the best? Okay. Now, they're obviously all of them. There's all of them are different in where they are as players, but Colin Hurley is not going to play as a true freshman. Okay. It's highly unlikely that he is going to be the guy. All right. So it comes down to, can Ricky Collins beat out Garrett Nussmeier? And the issue for me is Jaden, and not Jaden, Garrett has improved so much as a player. Okay. Now, we don't know what he looks like in a game. And to this point right now, we don't know what he's like as a starter. Okay. We just don't. He's never started a game before. Okay. Never. Not once. We don't know. We don't. But Garrett Nussmeier is still the best thrower on this team. Okay. When Colin Hurley steps on campus, where Garrett is going to be as a thrower is better than what Colin is right now. Okay. So, and Colin is the best thrower at all these camps. He wins MVP at every camp. Okay. I cannot get over how talented of a thrower Garrett is. He is a really gifted, compact thrower of the football, and it is very impressive to watch. But football is not played versus air. Okay. And you only can do so much. There's only so much you can get from watching football played on air. Okay. And this is also something else that's very tricky, is Garrett has fluctuations. Okay. And yeah. One final thing about this overall situation that I'll bring up. Okay. I do think when you watch the quarterbacks just throw, this is the second consecutive year, right, that Garrett just looks unbelievable throwing the football, right? But that's not all of it. And I go back to last spring what Jaden gives you at a quarterback cannot be shown in a practice setting. Okay? Football is a very weird sport to where how it is played in a practice setting is so diametrically different than how it's played in a game, right? A lot of there's more applicable things that translate in baseball and in basketball and in soccer with training sessions. Okay. Quarterback is not that. You cannot train for 21 other people being on the field and chaos happening from all around. You cannot prepare for that in the collegiate game. You can't. So, yeah, I commend Jaden for that because, he's not the absolute best quarterback to watch throw the football. He's not. Nor should he be, because that's not him. What he brings to your team is more than what you can see in practice. And that's what I love about him. I really do. Jason says he's loving the baseball talk. Okay. Now, I won't give you an LSU baseball breakdown, though, because I don't know all the players yet. Okay. Once again, Matthew Musso does a really good job. Blake, obviously, is probably my favorite LSU baseball analyst. I know he's my friend, so I'm biased, but Musso's my friend, too. Musso's really good at it. But yeah, LSU baseball looks really good. Okay. Now, they do play Arkansas this next weekend. Okay. Not the biggest game involving the Razorbacks this weekend. Okay. They obviously have a big March Madness game coming up. Now, I will say this about LSU baseball. The machine has been built. Now, what does that mean? Well, we're in a really good spot. We're in a really good spot right now. Okay. LSU is recruiting at a high level in baseball, and we are the program again. So, I'm happy about that. Got a Reggie Jackson reference. The baseball player or the basketball player? There you go. Now we're going to do it again. In the next 5 minutes, I'll answer as many questions as we possibly can, but feel free to super chat. Once again, I feel as if we're going to get a new patron tonight or someone that gets some merch, and we're going to send you this Malik Neighbors autograph card. Who doesn't want a Malik autograph card? Mr. LSU fan for life, another super chat. What's up, Jared? Good to see you and that beautiful face of yours. You can't have a live chat without Jared Addison, man. That's my guy. Kelly loves the fact that Nuss isn't afraid to take risk. He has more confidence throwing in tight windows than Jaden. That is unequivocally true. Okay. This is just a truthful statement. Okay. Now, notice I didn't say that this was necessarily a great thing, but this is just a truth bomb. Okay. And I go back to this. All right. Jaden's throw to Malik down the sideline versus Alabama was the throw of the year. Okay. Now, it wasn't the play of the year. The Mason Taylor 2-point conversion was, the play of our season, and will be the defining moment of the Brian Kelly era until we actually win the national championship. Okay. So Jaden's throw to Malik down the sideline was the throw of the season. Chris Doering had that as the best throw LSU had this year. Okay. Considering the time, the circumstances, and all of it. And as Jordan astutely points out, over Elias Ricks. Okay. But that doesn't mean it was the most difficult throw. It was a very difficult throw. A very difficult throw. But Garrett Nussmeier's whole shot versus Georgia to Malik Neighbors versus cover 2 is one of the best throws I've ever seen an LSU quarterback make. And it's up there with, it was a Rodgers, Mahomes, Herbert level rifle. Okay. It was of that high quality. Now, Garrett's not going to have as many of those types of throws as those studs will at this point in his career. But that throw, I still think about because it was such a difficult throw. It is a hard throw, the whole shot, right? Now, filmy guys that really love the game of football know how difficult of a throw that is. And when it's completed, if you are like a quarterback film nerd, it does make you feel good inside. It makes you feel a little warm because it's ambitious. You've got to fit the football. It's a long throw because obviously, especially if you're on the left hash throwing to the right side, or if you're in the middle of the field throwing to the right side, I mean, you've got to get it in there. Pause. But yeah, I mean, Garrett, I mean, when he made that throw, I was like, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. But he was very serious. Almost too serious. But yeah, now it was. Okay. And Brian Kelly was very public about Jaden's inability at times to actually take the shots. And Danny brought up a good point a minute ago about, relaying some of the things that you learn in practice to on the field. Okay. Jaden does say he watches with the destroying video. He said that he does consume film. Okay. But yeah, this is true. He does have more risk. He is able to take that shot. I think the issue, Pegasus, isn't, it's not that if he can do that consistently, because there's few people on the planet that can consistently hit that throw. It is a low percentage, difficult shot to hit, especially when you're playing a caliber of an opponent like that. I don't think it's necessarily the consistency of hitting that throw. It's more so he has that ability. He has that in his arsenal. And not many people do. Not many people on the planet could get that throw into where it needed to go. And he did it. He did it. Okay. Realistically speaking, as you can tell, the lighting is bad in here until I get my new bulbs. Okay. I can honestly see a scenario in which we go on the Alabama-like streak against them. Very good question. Very good super chat. So, has Nick Saban lost it? It's been a big question, right? 10-4 final score. LSU wins over UCA. There you go. Let me start by a very interesting observation here about Nick Saban. So I don't think Alabama fans hate Nick Saban. I don't. And I'm not saying Alabama fans have turned on Nick Saban. Okay. But two things have happened. Two, not one, but two things. Okay. The first is he has gotten older. Okay. And you do have a scenario where he's having to replace both these coordinators. Okay. But he's still recruiting at a high level. Alabama still has a ton of talent. But this is, and I know this isn't so much football, this is the second consecutive offseason where Alabama fans have said, wait, what? What are you doing, Nick? So obviously last year we had the Texas A&M scenario, right? It's crazy that it's coming up on a year since the Saban-Jimbo beef, okay? But now Alabama fans have teed off on Nick Saban for something he actually said yesterday, where we were talking about the Tony Mitchell, situation earlier, and how if I was Brian Kelly, I would tell my roster, hey, don't drive fast. It's just not worth it. Okay. But it's where it gets difficult. He did say that there's no such thing as wrong place, wrong time. Okay. Doesn't sound like it's a bunch, but that's how Nate Oates described the initial Brandon Miller situation. Okay. And it does seem Nick using that wording is a shot at Nate Oates. Okay. Now, Alabama has denied that Nick Saban was taking a shot at Nate Oates, but that's hard for me to believe that Nick used that phrasing. It kind of felt a little weird to me, especially considering Alabama basketball is the story, right? This is the first time in forever that Alabama basketball is better than Alabama football this season, okay? And Alabama basketball is the story. And Nick takes it's not a shot if it was just truly coincidence, but I don't think that was, okay? And I've seen Alabama fans on social media lash out at Nick. And I'm not just talking about Tony 336947363233, who has, an egg avatar and follows 5,000 people and only has 13 followers. So I'm not talking about that type of people. I'm talking about true people that have some real umph into, the Alabama media landscape. And they're furious that Nick used those words because it is a distraction and it has been a weird season for Alabama. And there have been new details that have come out since the story. Now, what does that have to do with this super chat? What does it have to do with LSU? Well, it just seems a little weird to me, okay? And I've done a ton of videos on this on Power Hour SEC, and I know it sounds strange to me that I'm bringing this up again, but Nick Saban all the time, talks about rat poison and distractions. When I'm telling you that Nick Saban consistently causes distractions. Okay? Consistently. Now, do I think Nick has regressed some as a coach? Yeah, in some ways. I think, the 2-point conversion decision versus us was bad. But I don't know. I don't know. But I do believe Alabama has so much talent that we might not go on a run like they did versus us, where we beat them, from 2011 to 2020, 2021. We beat them 1 out of a gazillion times during that period. I don't think we'll do that to them. But gone are the days where we chalk that up as just an automatic loss. Okay. So yeah, I think we could go on a 2 or 3 game run. I do. And right now we have the better team. We do. Look at the question here. Defense currently winning the poll. Wait, did UConn lose? I can't wait for a victory in Tuscaloosa this year. Outside of the top 5, Young, Stroud, Richardson, Levis, and Hooker. Who's a QB you're watching to see where he goes? All right, so I've tried to get better at quarterback evaluation. Okay, so I've looked at a bunch of tape, and the first thing I'll do is give my opinion on these 5 guys. And I tweeted this out today. Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this draft. Okay. Do I feel like he's going to struggle to see over the line at times? Yes. But I am in awe with what this guy's accomplished. Okay. Now I know some of you don't think he's really that good. I'm serious. Like Simper, he's not here right now, but he destroyed me for saying that Bryce Young is really good. I think he's kind of a weird situation where he honestly made Alabama's offense look a lot better than what it is. Okay. I'm pulling up, his QBR stuff. I think we held him to his lowest QBR this season versus a Power 5 team. Let me make sure I get this right. And we did. We held him to his lowest QBR versus a Power 5 team. Okay. Which is honestly really freaking good. Okay. So take that for what it's worth. Now, I think he'll be better than Kyler Murray. Yeah, they're just such different players. I mean, Kyler is such an elite athlete. Bryce Young isn't an elite athlete. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to give you two deeper cut QBs. Okay. And I've read all these reports. I've tried to watch as much as I possibly can. The first is Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Okay. So obviously we played him a few years ago. He carved us up. I like DTR a lot. He's an adult. He's a great leader. He's played a lot of football, and UCLA is not a football program. And I know a lot of his success is because Chip is a masterful play caller and play designer. And let's be honest, UCLA has had a freaking ridiculous amount of weapons at its disposal. Zach Charbonnet, Greg Dulcich, from 2 years ago. Offensive lines have been really good. The wide receiver Kyle Phillips is with the Titans now. He's had a wealth of weapons and really good play calling, and he is in the Pac-12, which is not necessarily known for defenses. I just like DTR a lot. I like watching him play. He's exciting. As a runner, he is not, obviously a Jaden level, Anthony Richardson level, but he's good enough. And he's a guy that I just like a lot. Someone else that really interests me, okay, is, and I won't get too deep because it was 2 a.m. when I was watching his highlights. Tim DeMorit, okay. I don't even remember the name of the school. He played. War number 17. He looks kind of like Ryan Tannehill. Plays for Fordham. Okay. Tim DeMorit was very interesting to me. This is a photo of him. Okay. I saw someone, try and watch all the NFL draft quarterbacks. Like I'm rooting for Jake Haener because he's smaller. He actually beat DTR in a legendary game 2 years ago. But Tim DeMorit is a tank, right? 6'4", 220. He's got pretty good athleticism as a player. And when I watched his highlights, I liked what I saw, right? So that's a deep, deep, deep cut for you, okay? Once again, it's all guessing. I don't really have much time to do NFL draft stuff, but I'm going to roll the dice on those two players, Tim DeMorit out of Fordham and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, okay? I'm in an underdog fantasy draft. An underdog fantasy. Okay. All right. So let's see. I am on the clock, and the players I have available are Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Christian Watson, and I need a receiver. Should I draft Amari Cooper over Christian Watley or Christian Watson or Calvin Ridley? I don't know. I don't want to draft Christian Watson and reach. Or I could draft Joe Burrow. Who else does he have to throw to? Arkansas game next year. We're doing it, Jordan? All right, guys. I'm going to call it. You do have to get up early. I will be in the Discord, though, chatting. Don't forget, sign up for the PHL Patreon. Get a Malik Neighbors autograph card right here. You also get to see my private Ricky Collins QB breakdown from some spring footage. So be on the lookout for that. Okay? It is Power Hour. LSU. Boom. Thanks again to Ty Christiana for joining us. Don't forget, April 22nd in Bossier City, the Arklatex card show. Free for you to be there. Jerry Jenkins will be there. Michaela Williams will be there. And, the national championship MVP, Patrick Queen, will be there as well. We'll see you there.